side vents. Okay? There's no way to really properly ventilate this attic unless when you're doing the roof, you tear off, and I've done this for a person before because it ended up costing the guy a shit ton of money. Because you pull the decking off, and then when you're doing the roof, and then you put your baffle in there, and then you resheet it. Right. Okay, that's really the only way to do it. Or you can go inside the house, pull all the drywall out, put your baffles in, and then re-drywall it. Either way, you're talking, thousands and thousands of dollars in a bigger project. So what the municipalities are doing is they're saying, okay, on this portion, let's at least put the edge vent, okay, on the bottom, which you need anyway. Put a ridge vent on top, or the cans, and it'll pass inspection. Okay, is it working or isn't it working? I don't fucking know. Right. I don't have no idea. It may work. Maybe the insulation in this portion of it isn't packed so tight that when the air does come in here, it can actually flow through and make it out to that little spot. Maybe. I don't know. My thoughts on these were always, put a fucking solar fan. When the sun comes out and it gets hot, it turns on and it pulls whatever it can. Is it going to pull some of this from down here? Maybe, because it is a little more powerful than just letting the hot air rise and exhaust out. And I've never, really got a straight answer on what truly has to be done in order to get that to pass code. My thoughts are, again, I let's put a power fan up there, and cross our fingers and hope for the best, But anyway, so and that's kind of what the inspectors are doing. They're saying, well, I want to see the edge vent. So typically you're only putting it on back or maybe a little portion in the front. Okay, so you're putting it on, and then you're going to go ahead and you're going to put the exhaust on the top. Typically on a house like that, because it is in the back, I'll just throw a couple more vents in there and let's keep the cost down. So, just put there's 4 or 5 up there, and that's what it calls for when you do your calculations. Then that's what it is. They're passing them. Because you know why? Because they're not going in the attic and checking to see if it's baffled or isn't baffled, is it choked off. And if you go to next time you go down that way and you're in the area, what you're going to see is a lot of times those guys are putting the vents down here. Now, are they doing that for exhaust or are they doing it for intake? I don't know. Because, well, you would think, but these areas here, the problem is these get so frickin' hot because the air's just staying in there that they're putting that there for exhaust. Okay? Is it for intake? Maybe. The question is what's it doing? Yeah. If it's there for intake, is it actually acting as intake or is it acting as exhaust? Because remember, these old houses, when they're built, you put 2 2-bys together. Now the house is 70 years old. Is that wood still butt tight, or is it open up a little bit to where the air can flow? Which would certainly make that an exhaust vent. Now, if it's airtight on the bottom, then okay, then that possibility is there of an intake. The bottom line is who the hell knows? Right. I mean, I could put my money on something if they were to do a test with a smoke bomb, and I would say what's happening, but and then the other part is you get up there and you look, and I've seen some of them that actually have baffles in them, and I've seen them some where it's so packed in that attic space there's no way air is getting through without a baffle, and then I've seen them where the insulation is so old and compacted, that it probably is breathing. What's the right way? Okay, the right way is to add the edge vent, add your can vents, and have a minor conversation about the homeowner. When I'm in a bungalow, they see that picture every time. you know, because, and I'm explaining to them. However, what we are gonna do is we're gonna get you to passcode, okay? This is the one time where I say it's maybe done like that for years, and, you know, it is what it is, you know, so let's stick with the ventilation. Now, there's another issue that goes along with this roof too, is...
Quick question, so with this one, I mean, it's more or less a guessing game. So how do we know we're doing it properly or the warranty?
Because we're gonna do it the way the inspector wants us to do it.
Okay. So what the inspector says, Owen Corning's gonna agree with the proper ventilation and stuff?
Codes are set up through the manufacturer.
Okay.
Okay. When it comes to ventilation, you know, they're the ones that dictate the ventilation codes.
Okay.
Okay. That's a bridge. I mean, if somebody was having issues on that home and we put a platinum roof on there, and you know, obviously it would be something that would be identified, you know, at the time.
Okay.
You know, Owens Corning may come in and say, yeah, well, it's not proper, but guess what? If it's a platinum package, do they have to stand behind it? Yeah, absolutely, because we installed it. Regardless of the way we install a roof, because we are the installer, Owens Corning has to stand behind it. We get all the paperwork. We get everything that says you have a platinum roof, therefore you are covered. Owens Corning is relying on us on to do that proper job. So that's one of those that you know, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. And unfortunately, that's, you know, this is not a great way to do business, but.
Did Alex contact you guys?
No. He didn't call you, did he, Dave? I don't even think we gave him your number, did we?
I think you're gonna call me.
I don't know that he'd even have your number, to be honest. You don't have Dave's number, do you?
No.
Now, that leads to the next question. You have these gable vents. Okay. If you ask me, on a house like this, you leave them. Don't fucking touch them. Okay. However, the reason I say leave them is because I don't know what this house is fucking doing. And as many holes as we can poke in it, the fucking better. Okay, but not to this extreme. All right. In a normal house, though, okay, when you go up and like this style here, right? If you can put the eaves underneath, and you can put a ridge vent on, you see he still has that gable vent. Okay. On this house, we would make sure that when the roof was installed, that gable vent gets closed off. Okay. Why? Well, this is...
It's stopping the airflow.
It's technically an exhaust vent. Okay. How many types of exhaust can we have on a house? One. So what happens now is instead of the house pulling from down here and exhausting out the top, again, physics comes into play, and it's going to pull from the area of least resistance. So it's going to try to pull there. So what we tell the customers when we're putting the roof on, regardless of the style, regardless of what the house is, we are always going to close off those gable vents. Okay. Back to the straw. Okay, and this is exactly how I explain it to the homeowner. Back to the straw. If I poke a hole in the middle of the straw, what happens to it? Stops working.
Yep.
Right? Because now you're going, because you're getting your juice and you're getting some air. So it's not. That's what's called a diffuse system. Okay. A gable vent is like poking a hole in a straw. It renders it useless. Okay, so we cover those up when we take the roof off. You know, the guys will pull a couple of boards, whatever they have to do, and then they'll go in there. Typically what we do is we just take a piece of ice and water shield and stick it to the inside and then seal it off from there. Okay. Okay, I guess that pretty much does it, other than breaking it down to the calculations. Another thing, so you know, I do explain. I use the straw example, to a homeowner, because it, well, it does. It paints the picture for them, and they understand it. They get it. I mean, if the straw's this big at the top and this big at the bottom, how much are you going to pull through? Only what's at the bottom. So we got to equal it up. Okay, I get it. I understand. When you go to that house and there's no intake whatsoever, and all they have is exhaust.
Dave,
When I talk, he's not here. He just stepped out.
thank you.
The way I explain that particular scenario is, you familiar with the juice cans, right? And you poke a hole in the one side. If you try to dump it out, what happens? It just goes drip, drip, drip. And then you take it and you poke the hole on the second side. Now it comes chugging out. Okay. That second hole is your intake. Okay. Without that intake, doesn't matter how big the exhaust is. You can make that hole bigger and bigger. It's not going to change anything. So you need the two. If you got well, there's an in, there's an out. Where there's an up, there's a down. There's an intake, there's an exhaust. Okay, the two just go hand in hand. Another thing I use, you get into a younger, younger customer, the kid's 25 years old or whatever, has no idea of the juice can. I didn't fucking know. I mean, when I was a kid, that's all you've seen, right? The high C and the tomato juice, and now everything's in a plastic bottle, or a box, right? Everybody's cut. Any young man's probably cut grass in his life, right? And you go to put gas in there. What does the gas can have on the side? It's got that little yellow button on there, doesn't it? You pop that little yellow button, and it opens up. If you don't pop that little yellow button, what happens? No gas comes out. It just goes droop, 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 droop. So that second button, and that's ventilation in a nutshell. Those analogies work real well when you're trying to explain it to the homeowner, because it can be a little confusing. Pictures are always a great tool to break it down and show them. That's why I say when I'm in a bungalow, you can mark my words. I got a picture of this somewhere in my paperwork from when I talked to that customer, showing them, and because they don't really know. They know they got a little cubby hole, and then they look in there, and there's their attic spot, but they don't know the complete structure there. Right. They don't know that area there above has to be baffled. Okay? And actually, usually the drywall goes more like this. It usually goes up on a little bit of an angle till you get that little peak there. So, all right. Now, one thing I didn't do, and I need to go hit the bathroom, is we didn't do a rehash of what we did yesterday. Oh! And all the guys were in the office and everything. There was too much talking going on, so I really didn't want you to sit there and try to run through the demo with all the guys in here fucking blabbing away and talking shit.
How was your night, Dave?
Not bad. How about you?
Not bad.
Yeah, did you go over any of your stuff?
Yeah. Yeah, I typed up I got about halfway through a pitch that we're about to do now, so.
Good. I know Matt, our IT guy, got emails and shit set up for you.
Yeah, that's what he just said. He'll have the iPad ready for tomorrow.
Yep, and then I'll get your email on there, email on your phone, so then you'll have the pitch. You can start rolling through that, and then start getting the different apps, the financing shit, everything else on there. So, should be good, man.
I'm assuming the iPads have like cellular service.
Yes.
Is that your black Ram out there?
No. Is everything okay with it?
Oh yeah, no. So you married, kids, anything?
Yeah, married, got 3 kids.
Nice.
14, will be 13 next week, and then 9-year-old girl. Just 2 boys.
Yeah, it's like me.
What do
my
you got?
My daughter is 14. My other daughter will be 12 in a couple of weeks. So actually, my daughter will be my 15-year-old. She'll be 15 on the 2nd.
Oh, okay, that's my middle birthday.
And then my daughter will be 12 April 3rd, and my son just turned 9.
Oh no, shit, yeah, fucking exactly the same. Oops. You said
How
what,
old are you?
I was gonna say, you said 37, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm 38.
Okay. Yeah, I'm 38 September.
Where do you live, in the Shores?
Harrison Township.
Harrison Township.
I grew up in Shelby.
Oh, okay. Where'd you go to school at?
Eisenhower.
Alright.
Actually, I went to Notre Dame, and then I went to De La Salle, and then I went to Eisenhower.
That's where I went to Notre Dame.
Yeah, I couldn't stand it, man.
I
I think I left there after like 2 weeks. I couldn't stand the fucking lunch, the jukebox, and Elvis and shit. And then my older brother went to De La Salle, so then my parents sent me there, and I just didn't care for it.
Yeah, I graduated Notre Dame '99.
Okay.
My brothers both went there. So you were only there for half a minute, huh?
Yeah. My brother graduated from De La Salle. My sister graduated from Regina.
Okay.
Well, you guys are fucking alumni, huh?
So I typed up. I probably got halfway through my own pitch.
Okay.
Obviously, I don't have it memorized, so I'll be reading from this.
Okay.
But I'll get it down.
Just so you know, when we say your own words, we're not saying to rewrite the script in your words, which is fine if you're pretty much laying down, the way we're showing. Because if you rewrite it, you may miss a couple. Sometimes there's important things that get said that you may not incorporate into what you're trying to say.
Right.
That truly need to be said. With that being said, I'll entertain what you've done.
Alright, so I'm Jason with Rock Solid Exteriors. Just gonna get into a little bit of our background. So Rock Solid Exteriors roots go back 20 plus years to the start of Built Solid, a storm damage restoration company chasing storms and helping families all across Michigan. With over a decade in business offering families quality products and true warranties, we decided to open up Rock Solid Exteriors to service all of Metro Detroit and offer everyone quality products and outstanding service. In recognition of our many years of outstanding service and products, Owen Corning partnered up with us to be a platinum preferred roofing contractor in Metro Detroit, which allows us to offer true warranties.
Okay.
Owens Corning was founded in 1938, has facilities in 26 different countries, and employs 15,000 people worldwide. A Fortune 500 company for 61 consecutive years, and recognized as a Green Cross Award winning company to help create a process that increases shingle recycling across the country. Owens Corning invented the commercial fiberglass in 1938, which was used to build lightweight boats and planes. Did you know that in 1953 Chevrolet reached out to Owens Corning and said, we have this heavy V8 engine and they need a lightweight body, and that's where the Corvette was born?
Didn't know that.
Yeah. In 1978 they created the first fiberglass shingles, which changed the industry. And then in 1987, Owens Corning rolled out with the new mascot, the Pink Panther. Do you remember that old TV show?
Yeah. Dude.
Then in 2006, they continued to revolutionize the roofing industry and invented the shear nail technology.
Okay. Back to the when they introduced the fiberglass mat. Okay, if you're going to say revolutionize, that is the spot to truly say it at.
Okay.
The shear nail technology added to their shingle, okay, whereas the fiberglass mat truly changed the whole shingle industry. You know, not just one company, not just two companies, but all of them. The reason that happened, folks, is because there used to be a paper mat, okay? And the problem is when they would saturate the oils, it would never, you know, combine the shingle. Okay, it never tied the shingle together. They used to use asbestos. We know where that went. So by using fiberglass, obviously it's a woven product, right? So that those oils, when you're putting the shingle together, can meet and actually bind together. Not only did it do that, but it also added extra strength to the shingle, which, you know, truly has been unmatched since they've introduced the fiberglass shingle.
Yeah, I was going to put that in there for it cuts on the bonding.
And it truly did. I mean, it truly did revolutionize the industry because everybody went to it. Okay, the shear nail technology. Most of these shingle manufacturers don't give a fuck because they're not given the warranties that Owens Corning is given.
Right.
You know, so they don't really care about their shingle and how long it's going to last because the warranty's bullshit anyway.
Okay.
Okay. Why does Owens Corning care? Well, because they fucking have the warranty, right? So they wanna truly make something the best way they possibly can because they're covering that warranty.
Right.
So.
Okay.
No, so far so good.
All right. As a company ourselves, we are always striving for greatness. If you go online and check any third-party companies, Angie's List, Google, Hired Done, Home Advisor, we are a 4.5 to a 5-star company. We'd love to be a straight 5 stars, but we do work with the public, and our motto is striving for 5. Everyone always wants a reference. Good, bad, or indifferent, the Better Business Bureau shows my track record from built solid to rock solid exteriors, almost 20 years in business with over 15,000 customers. You could imagine we'd have a few complaints. There's a small handful, but we have 0 unresolved issues. When looking for a contractor, isn't that what you're looking for? Someone who takes care of any issues? So could I give you a better reference than the Better Business Bureau?
Nope, couldn't.
And that's wrong.
Okay. And just one thing, and there's a reason I add this, and it always eliminates this, because even though you get that commitment out of them, sometimes you'll get in the close, and and trust me, you're gonna run into this fucking guy, okay? And he's gonna say, I want references, and I also want to drive some of the work that I want to drive by and see some of your work.
Right.
Okay. We could have things. We could have a list of people to call.
Yep.
Okay. And I could have jobs, which we do have. Here, drive by this one. Here, drive by this one. Drive by this one. Drive by this one. Hello.
Hey, Joe, I'm sitting out in Ferndale,
Okay.
and I know we've been pretty hot in Ferndale lately, and I just want to check and see if we have a showcase home promotion for the area, because this guy's got a school down the way, and for a side street, man, it is busy.
Okay. And you're in Ferndale?
He wants no protection. He wants no the gutters. The neighbors don't have trees. He don't have trees. It's never been an issue.
Okay.
So I got him with the gutters, and I showed him the retail price. I showed him the first time promotion.
Okay.
When it comes to getting the sign in the yard out here, his street, you can see they're gonna need roofs, they're gonna need some siding work, a lot of houses down that street.
Yeah, well, Cordish, you know,
If there was a promotion available for that.
well, I mean, usually we don't offer that stuff with gutters, Cordish, you know that. I mean, so how's he feel about our company?
I think he likes the company,
You think?
you like the company? There you go.
All right. So does he? How about the products? Does he like the fact that we're using the 027 with the hidden hangers?
Yeah, you have a thicker gutter and you don't have the spikes hanging out. Yeah, we definitely went over that. He likes that.
Okay. So at the end of the day, he likes everything. He's just looking to maybe get a little better price out of us.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, he was thinking in the 1500 range, you know, and I'm still over that. So I was just kind of seeing what we could do if there was something available that we could work with the price for him.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. I'm not gonna. Obviously, we typically don't do that in gutters. But I'm gonna. I do have one that I see straggled from Roseville that was kind of out there. And I know we don't have any appointments out there today. I know we're not going to be out there till tomorrow. So go ahead here, write this down. 48066 SBAP 17.
Okay.
So show them what that'll do. Like I said, I don't have anybody out in Roseville today anyway. We're not going out that way till tomorrow. So I'll just pull it from Roseville, and we'll put that one in Ferndale then.
Okay. Yeah, I'll show what that price looks like. I appreciate it, though.
All right, no problem.
Thank you.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Wow. See what time it is? No. See what time it is?
9 minutes after his appointment.
Yeah, I told him to go there early.
Oh, did ya?
Yeah, because I have another 12.
Oh, okay. No. He's fucking calling me for a drop already. 12:09. Wow, he's fast. He's like Eminem. He's got to get it done. It doesn't happen all the time, but when it does happen, and that guy wants to see references and he wants to see some jobs we've done, can we provide that information? Yeah. But what's going to happen with your clothes?
It's gonna hold me up,
Why?
because he wants to see that.
Because he wants to go drive around and see that stuff. Okay, and this is just something that I've added to it, and you know, it happened to me multiple times. But once I started saying it, I've never ran into that again. So, you know, every once in a while. No, that was fine. I actually liked what you did. I'm just letting you know on this part to add this to it. Okay? I mean, you pretty much were saying what I said. You changed it up a little bit. I mean, if that's the way you're comfortable saying it, it was awesome. There's nothing wrong with it whatsoever. Okay? When I said putting your spin on it, I just didn't want you to be changing things and saying, you said the same thing that I was saying, you're just being a little more articulate, and that's fine. That's no issue there whatsoever. But what I do want you to add to that is just the, you know, folks, from time to time I'll get that guy that says, oh, I want to see some of your work and I want to talk to, you know, a couple of your customers.
Right.
And I say it just like that.
You got 100 customers.
Hear me out real quick. I say it just like that. Why? Because I sound like a fucking douchebag when I say it, don't I? So the guy that's sitting there going, yeah, I'm gonna ask this guy for a couple of references and some fucking jobs to go look at. Okay? And I do it like that, and I sound like a dumbass. Oh, I wanna see some work you've done. Folks, first of all, if I give you any references, would I ever give you a reference?